Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoded, the place where we try to make sense of what these big corporations are trying to tell us and sometimes what they're trying to hide. Today we're diving into a report from KKR FS Income Trust Select. And let's just say this one involves some interesting numbers and a bit of a behind the scenes look at how they're raising money. Before we dive in, if you like getting straightforward insights from official company documents, make sure you are subscribed and hit that notification bell. Also, we have a growing community on Discord all about decoding these filings. Check out the link in the description below. So what exactly is KKR FS Income Trust Select? Well, it is a registrant, which is just a fancy word for a company that has to file these official reports with the US Securities and Exchange Commission. Or CC, this report is a Form 8K, which is like an out-of-ordinary report used to announce major events that shareholders should know about. The main story here is about unregistered sales of equity securities. Basically, this means they sold some shares of the company. Those are the Class I shares I just mentioned. They sold a lot of them, over 1.1 million shares, for a hefty sum of nearly $30 million. Now, the final number of shares might change a little bit later, but this is a pretty big chunk of business. Why is this unregistered, or why are they telling us about it in this way? Well, they are doing this under specific exemptions from the normal rules that require companies to register their stock sales. With the CC, this usually means they are selling to specific types of investors who are considered more sophisticated, like accredited investors. They are essentially saying, hey, we sold these shares and we did it following these specific rules. So they brought in almost $30 million from these sales. This is part of their continuous private offering. Think of it as an ongoing process where they are selling shares not on a public stock exchange, but directly to investors. This is a common way for investment trusts to raise capital. Now let's look at something really important for an investment trust, the net asset value, or NAV. This is essentially the total value of all the assets the trust holds minus its liabilities. This tells you the underlying worth of the trust per S-share. As of late November, the net asset value per S-share for these Class I shares was $25.61. That is a key number for investors to track. And the total value of the entire company of accumulated assets minus debts was around $910.8 million. That is a pretty substantial amount. This private offering they are conducting it is a big one. They are aiming to raise up to $5 billion. As of the date of this report, they've already brought in about $907 million. That means they still have a lot of room to raise more money through this ongoing private sale of shares. It is important to note that these numbers don't even include any shares they might have issued if people chose to automatically reinvest their earnings back into buying more shares. So the actual capital raised might be even higher. And finally, we have the exhibits, which usually contain the structured financial data. The main exhibit listed here is the interactive data file, which makes it easier to pull and analyze the numbers. So let's break down what this all means. On the one hand, KKR FS Income Trust Select is actively raising significant capital through its private offering. This suggests confidence in their investment strategy and a need for more funds to deploy. The net asset value per share provides a clear benchmark of the trust performance. However, the fact that they are selling unregistered securities means they are not doing so through the typical public market channels. This is common for certain types of investment vehicles and investors, but it means the shares aren't as readily available or liquid as those traded on a major stock exchange. Looking at the numbers, this trust is clearly an active player with nearly $1 billion in assets. The continuous offering of up to $5 billion shows an ambitious growth plan. They've already secured a substantial portion of that goal. The net asset value being over $900 million indicates a solid foundation. Now, for my take, KKR FS Income Trust Select appears to be effectively executing its fundraising strategy. The company is growing its asset base and doing so by tapping into a specific investor pool that is comfortable with private placements. The key for investors to watch here will be the ongoing net asset value, per S-share growth, and how efficiently they deploy the capital they are raising. The risks for investors in private offerings typically involve less liquidity and potentially less transparency compared to publicly traded securities. However, for those seeking specific investment opportunities like those offered by KKR FS Income, Trust Select this might be a well-suited avenue. The company's direction seems set on continued expansion through these private sales, which is a clear strategy. There aren't many explicit risks called out in this particular filing beyond the nature of the offering itself. But as always with any investment, understanding how diligently management is working to grow that net asset value is crucial. Alright, that is our quick decode of the KKR FS Income Trust Select filing. What do you think about the way they're raising money and their overall asset value? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this breakdown helpful, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more corporate deep dives. And don't forget to join our Discord community for ongoing discussions. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.